Joaquin Niemann wins for the 5th time on the LIV Golf Tour. And I don't know how many starts they've had. Is it 9 at this point, probably, maybe 10? So he's won half the time virtually.
He has, and this is again a stat. Sean Lowry's our guy who sends me LIV stats every week.
I love that you get LIV stats every week from.
It's so good.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Sadiq Bey coming off the bench. Alvarado missed a lot of time. Jordan Hawkins has had his moments. So, and remember, they picked out even a guy like Kevon Looney off the bench. So, to me, they could be there. You know what? And it's crazy because last year I was so big on them, and now I'm off of them, but I'm going to say it. Fly Pelican! 7-1. Fly Pelican! Fly Pelican fly! 7-1? What's the...
So, here's why JY is great. Because sometimes I almost, it's tough when I sell JY, because now what will happen is, right? I mean, listen, it's the middle of the summer. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen in 2 months from now, JY's going to go, now listen, me and K-Dub love these Pelicans. I'm like, when did I say that? When did I don't remember that one, JY.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So I drafted Aaron Jones in my Dynasty League, but he's like my 4th running back, to let you know that people don't really believe in him. And by the way, when you play in a Dynasty League, I always play to win this year. I don't worry about next year. I want to win now. Flags fly forever. I'll worry about next year. So, but I got Aaron Jones last year, 1138. So he's going to drop that down by almost 50% not to get this total here. Yeah, I think he gets, I'll take the over.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Time to rise and grind. It's the early line on the SportsGrid Network, Sirius XM channel 159. It's Donnie Rightside, and it's Joe Ranieri. And you know, man, the next 2 hours, we got you covered on all the latest hot topics across the sports landscape. It's just what we do. Did you know yesterday that me and Joe Ranieri joined forces and said, hey, the Milwaukee Brewers are probably going to knock down the Atlanta Braves in the first 5, check, and in the full game, double check down yesterday. That's the information that we can provide. And also understand this, a full slate of Week 1 preseason action in the NFL. Today, it's a Tuesday, a full schedule of Major League Baseball action. All the hottest topics, you know where you get it from, Joe. It's right here on the SportsGrid Network.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel here, Donnie.
Bing bong.
It is going well. Who was president? I can't even remember. Let me just say this. I'm looking very forward to Thursday football again as well. That'll be here before we know it.
By the way, just looking at some of those lines, which are interesting. Remember the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe? Like, hey, you know, we're going to play more players in the preseason here. That line completely flipped over from an Eagles favorite to a Bengals favorite. And then we have the game we've been waiting for. It's the Baltimore Ravens getting points in the preseason. See how excited we are? But that's Thursday night's action. Today's Tuesday, and it's our job to get you through this Tuesday and set you up for success tonight, which includes the 7-7, the hottest sports topics out there in the land, which includes the Indianapolis Colts and their quarterback depth chart. Ooh, some uncertainty out there. Is it Anthony Richardson? Is it Daniel Jones? The odds markets have spoken. They believe it's Anthony Richardson. But neck and neck, down the stretch they come. Who's going to be that starting quarterback?
Yeah, well, you know what they say. If you have 2 quarterback ones, you basically have none. Yeah, you have 0 here. Let's be realistic. And how that line even flipped on Thursday is hilarious. But I guess that's their way of motivating these 2 guys, Donnie, in camp the rest of the way to figure out who it is that comes out as the starting quarterback. But quite honestly, does it really matter which one of these guys starts this year for the Colts?
No, it doesn't matter at all. And the best part about this is, do we actually believe, though, that a professional franchise is going to be like, okay, we got 3 preseason games. Let's play these guys each a half to see who's the better quarterback? That's determined in practice. That's determined in the film room at this point here. So I doubt both of these guys are going to get each a half in the opening preseason game. But based upon the way that's priced against the Baltimore Ravens, we're factoring that in. And Joe Ranieri hit the nail on the head, and he said, you know what? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. What what if I told you have 5 quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns? Do you still have none? Tyler Huntley, welcome into the Cleveland Browns. Everybody's banged up in that quarterback room.
Yeah, that you should just forfeit the season with the list of quarterbacks that you have in that room right now. There's really no reason for you even to show up. I mean, my goodness. Flacco at the top of the charts. Kudos, I guess, given the fact that everyone else is either hurt. And how is Shedeur Sanders listed as the 4th quarterback on the depth chart in a room like that is kind of, I guess we all know why he slid down the draft board, don't we?
Supposed to get maybe 5 wins this year in Cleveland. Don't know who the future quarterback is going to be. The factory of sadness, and that's a coined phrase and appropriately used for Cleveland here. It's just a mess for the Cleveland Browns. How about J.J. McCarthy? We were supposed to see a lot of him in the preseason last year, but actually got hurt in the preseason. That knee injury kept him out his entire rookie season. J.J. McCarthy to play in the Vikings preseason opener. We get a glimpse of what that future might be in Minnesota, Joe.
Yeah, and I mean, well, listen, none of us really know. It would have been nice to see what he would have been able to deliver last year, but that was over before it started, Donnie. So I know this: when it comes to young quarterbacks in the NFL, coaching matters, and he has one of the best. And if you can turn Sam Darnold into Cinderella, what can J.J. McCarthy bring to the table for the Minnesota Vikings? I think he's in good hands, but we'll see. We'll talk after week 6 to see exactly what we think the progress is of J.J. McCarthy.
Must be nice, like camp in Minnesota. Like you just saw those pictures of J.J. McCarthy wearing like pants out there, wearing the shirt sleeve. Man, it must be nice. You don't get that South Florida heat up there in Minnesota. It does get hot at times, but looks like J.J. McCarthy's feeling it right now. You know who else is feeling it? Getting paid in the NBA. It's a rightly passage. De'Aaron Fox, 4-year, $229 million max extension with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, and boy, the Spurs are loaded. I mean, he's only 27, I believe. So, my goodness, this is going to look like a very dangerous team like the San Antonio Spurs of old here. They can score with the best of them. You give me Fox, you give me Wembanyama, and I'm going to give you some wins this year for sure in San Antonio.
How about this? Wins in the state of Texas coming easy right now. It's the Texas Rangers, 59-55, going up against the New York Yankees, who can't find it. Victory swept out in Miami. Take a flight over to Texas, have a lead, and blow that lead. 1 run to tie it up in the bottom of the 9th by the Rangers, and 3 runs in the 10th to walk it off. The Yanks, another loss, a big win for the Texas Rangers.
Oh, things are going swimmingly for the Bronx Bombers, aren't they? Even when they hit now, Donnie, this great bullpen that they put together continues to deliver for the other team on a nightly basis. Devin Williams gives up, blows the save, gives up the tying home run with 2 outs, no less. And then, of course, Jake Bird, was it Bird from the Rockies? Yeah, he, again, delivered fantastic for the Texas Rangers, who walked it off with a 3-run bomb. So good luck, Yanks. Good luck. You're now slowly looking at maybe the 3rd wild card if you're lucky.
That's all right. They were just waiting for Aaron Judge due to make his return tonight. We'll see how that helps that lineup, because right now the runs, he scored 5. Look, he scored 5 runs. You're supposed to win a baseball game. You give up 8, you ain't going to win too many baseball games. That's just the way it is. Talking about winning games, we haven't had any games yet in college football. That's coming up August 23rd, week 0, I should say. Texas right now in the college football poll, number 1, followed by Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, and then Clemson in the 6th hole. Those were the teams, Joe, that got number 1 votes here. But it's Texas right now that sits up top.
Yeah, a couple of Big Ten powerhouses. And then, of course, there you go, Texas. But you got the SEC, I believe, has 9 of those spots there in the top 25, Donnie. So once again, the SEC loaded, but the Big Ten ain't that far behind.
I'm interested to see, again, Ohio State and Penn State, 2 interesting teams in the Big Ten here. A lot of action coming back for Penn State. We'll see how that holds out. My boys, the Miami Hurricanes there, Joe, sitting at 10th overall in the preseason coaches top 25. Some NCAA talk outside of the football landscape to basketball. They won't expand the tournament. I'm going to be the first to say, I don't mind the expansion. If they approved it, I'm fine with that. But if they didn't approve it, it's no big deal to me. A lot of people out there, don't ruin the sport. Yeah, the same people that probably chimed in the early 1980s, like, you can't raise this up from like 24 or 40 teams here. Stop it, man. The more games that matter, the more times you get to bet, the more times you get to have some fun. But they're going to hold off, Joe, at least 1 more year.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if it ain't broke, Donnie, like, why are we fixing it? Oh, wait a minute, money? You mean it's all about the money? Oh, what a shock. So if you add another 20 games, you're going to make more I like it just the way it is. So I'm good for holding out for one more year so we can, everyone just pump the brakes on 9,000 more college basketball games in March.
Hey, don't you like the CIT, the CTI, the CBI, the EEI, the REI? Yeah, that clothing store probably is sponsored somewhere with a college basketball postseason tournament as we get through. Other hot topics across the landscape here. Isak Paredes. Remember, Joe, we're updating him. This guy's going to be down 8 months. Did it turn into 8 days or 8 weeks now? He goes, I'm not getting surgery. I'm just going to rehab this thing, and I should be back in 2025. What doctor is he going to?
I got to tell you, Donnie, you called it here on the show. You're like, wait a minute, what am I missing here? Why is this guy out forever with a hand? Like, what are we talking about here? So good call, Donnie.
Absolutely. A lot more topics to hit here on a Tuesday morning on the Sports Grid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. So what we do is Joe and here at Donnie right side, bright in your morning with us right here. We'll be back after this break. NFL talk? Absolutely.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Right back at it here on the early line, Sports Grid Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Joe Ranieri and Donnie Rightside here getting some NFL talk in. Why? Because we have week number 1 of the preseason, and some quarterback competitions are still to be determined right now. And we got to focus on the Colts because Adam Schefter sends a tweet out yesterday here, Joe. Colts' first unofficial depth chart here of the season lists their quarterback position like this: Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, which we see at times, which means 1 and 1A. These two guys are going to fight it out. And depending on what happens in practices in the preseason, who's going to be that week number 1 quarterback. But the issue that I have with this is the changing of the odds market, which is heavily favored right now on Anthony Richardson. And I do agree with that. Daniel Jones is not your future quarterback, and you just want some closure, if not to see what Anthony Richardson is about. Because if Richardson is really bad, finally, we don't have to play him another season. That's it. It's going to be a wrap. We'll release him, and we'll try to get our future quarterback maybe in the draft or via trade in the next year. Playing Daniel Jones doesn't do a lot for me at this point, but we were also led to believe early in the summer, like we had a debilitating shoulder injury once again for Anthony Richardson. We didn't know when he was going to throw the football. A few weeks go by. He's back seemingly fine at this point. So he does, to me, Joe, have the inside track. But how do you operate and look at the Indianapolis Colts quarterback room right now and say, who's going to be that starter?
Listen, this is exactly what happens, Donnie, when you draft a guy that has all of 1 year worth of college football experience as a starter in Florida. And we knew he had all the athletic ability in the world, but half the time we also knew that he's certainly going to be an injury liability because of the way he plays the game. And above the shoulders, was this really a guy after last year that you go, this is the leader of our clubhouse here. This is the leader of our team, the face of the franchise. Again, you forced him into this role when he wasn't ready for it. And now you're basically trying to figure out whether or not you can, throw him out there to the wolves, let him fail. And then we can say, hey, we gave him every opportunity to succeed. No, you didn't. You set him up to fail because you were in such a rush to throw him out under center in his first year. And he wasn't ready for it, Donnie. It's as simple as that.
You know, it's going to be interesting to watch this play out too, Joe. Week number 1, they're at home against the Miami Dolphins. I don't think we've gotten one good bit of, feel-good vibes out of Dolphins camp. And when you're at home week number 1, the expectations you're probably going to win that game, and you should win that game. Let's just say the Colts win that. Week number 2, they are at home again. It's still hard to win on the road, specifically early in the season, and the Denver Broncos come to town. Now, the Broncos, we could probably agree, are the better team. But then week number 3, Joe, you're on the road at the Tennessee Titans. Week 4 at the Rams. You can win that Titans game. You probably lose to the Rams, but then you come back home and play the Vegas Raiders. This schedule is not that daunting in the month of September. So whoever gets that leg up really is like, hey, man, I want to start week number 1. That's a legitimate chance for a victory. Now, granted, if it was against the Eagles, so let's just say the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, or the Ravens, like, hey, Daniel, you take game number 1, get blown up. I'll be certainly the starting game number 2 when, let's just say, we take on the Miami Dolphins. So these guys are looking at this as a great opportunity to get some wins early and instill some confidence in the franchise. But if we are looking at this, and if it is a neck-and-neck race, which they're saying, do we actually believe that? Because I still want to go back to, they brought Daniel Jones in as a veteran presence in case we had to hit the eject button. At least we have somebody who's competent, who's been in the NFL, not going to embarrass us, and is hopefully going to be there on a week-to-week basis. I would be so stunned, Joe, if week number 1, non-injury, Daniel Jones is the quarterback, then I actually just question what the franchise is actually doing at that point.
Well, again, they're not setting him up for success. I mean, that's the bottom line. There is nothing that we saw. Does he have talent? Is he the best athlete that we have seen? Yeah, he's all of those things. But you got to be more than that if you're going to be a starting franchise quarterback in the NFL. And I never thought he was ready coming out of Florida. I thought it was ridiculous that they threw him in there like the way they did and set him up. And then we got a guy walking off the field, taking plays off because he's tired. How is this playing in the locker room, Donnie? Is this really a leader among men, which is what you need in that locker room? Or is he just a sacrificial lamb going, you know what? The reason we brought Daniel Jones is because as soon as he either gets hurt or throws 4 interceptions, we can bring in Daniel Jones and be good to go. I don't see how this ends well for Richardson at all with this team.
And also, it's not as if you look at the Colts as this a barren wasteland of talent. Their defense is decent. They have a good offensive line. One of the better running backs in football. You got out in the draft and signed, who I thought was probably the best tight end in college football last year in Warren out of Penn State. You have legitimate wide receivers. There's no reason. And also, Shane Steichen, to me, is a very good offensive coordinator. He just hasn't had that quarterback, which is what you need to win in the NFL. So it's not as if, the barren desert, as you just said, you start week 1, like, what do you want me to do with this team? Like, there's no weapons. There's nobody to throw to. What do you want me to do here? There's plenty of weapons here to have a good offense enough to move the football effectively here, and it's just up to the players. But I got to be honest. It just feels like the Colts season comes down to this. Play Anthony Richardson as much as you can. You know he's not going to be good, but at least next offseason, Joe, you know exactly what to do. Like, is there any thought process in your mind? Like, Anthony Richardson starts, and by week 10, you're like, wow, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, that doesn't even cross my mind, which is what a first-round draft pick should actually be when he plays in the NFL.
Yeah, the only thing that crosses my mind is, will he be healthy by week 3? That's the only thing that questions my mind. Will he be healthy? Because he doesn't play the position smart enough to be a starting quarterback yet. It's one thing if you're bringing this guy off the bench, but you didn't draft him in the 3rd round. You drafted him with your first pick, Donnie, and you moved up to go get him. So here's the problem. Now the organization from the top down has a mandate in order to get this kid on the field as much as possible here, and let's see what we have, because if he's not the answer, we got to move on. You're not giving the guy a chance to actually succeed, and I think that's the biggest problem I have with it here, Donnie, is I don't think he's ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
And here's where you get yourself in trouble. Like, usually, Joe, it's like, hey, man, drafted this guy late 3rd round. What a project. He is going to be sensational if it works out, but if not, it's not a big deal. We burned a 3rd round pick. You don't like it, but you can live with it. Round number 1, pick number 4, that can't be a project. That can't be he's going to be ready in 5 years. Like, even dating us back like to the 1990s, like Steve McNair comes out of Alcorn State. He was a much more accomplished passer than Anthony Richardson, but they're like, okay, he's more of a project. Let's sit him down. Let's get him in a good organization. Steve Fisher's the coach. We'll take it slow, and look how it worked out. He had a great career in the NFL. Anthony Richardson was thrown after like, hey, kid, we know you can't pass, but you're electric, and I have an ownership group and a general manager that just wants to see you out there. Let's see what we can do. And it hasn't worked out in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it does this year. We're just not counting on it. How about the Cleveland Browns locker room, their quarterback situation? Joe and Donnie, we're getting to that next.
5 to think long and hard about whether or not you're a Hall of Famer. You're not a Hall of Famer. I don't need to argue stats. I don't need to argue whether or not you are great. If Ichiro Suzuki is not a Hall of Famer, we don't need to have a baseball Hall of Fame. Like, just pack it up and shut it down, because that guy was as good of a hitter as we've ever seen. And he was unbelievable from the first time he stepped onto the field for the Mariners until the end.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
It was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pavetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like, I do. Like, sometimes I get caught up in the Padres of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
We're not even at the first preseason game for the majority of the NFL teams, and we are having quarterback controversies in a lot of spots here. Not even a controversy, Joe Ranieri, on like who's going to be the starter, but who's going to be number 2, 3, 4, 5, or be traded or cut from different teams and in different environments. We're talking right now about the Cleveland Browns, and we have a clip here of Shedeur Sanders talking about prime time here in Cleveland.
Like I look at it at my own point of view. Like I don't want him coming to see me right now because I want to get to where I want to go then for him to see me. I don't want him to come and see me, get a couple reps and, he's cheering like a good dad. Like, nah, you can't be proud of me right now. I got to get to where I'm going, and I know it's a lot I got to do to get there. So it's kind of like I just want everything that I'm doing is just, like, focus on this time, and I don't want no distractions because we know how the media, we know how everybody will take it and take away from the team just from him being my own dad showing up. So, it's a gift and a curse at the same time.
Is he also saying, Joe Ranieri, well, sooner or later, my dad's probably going to be the head coach after we win 3 games this year, and he'll take over the Cleveland Browns. Then I want my dad to come see me play because I'll be the starting quarterback here. Look, Shedeur Sanders is a good football player, was a very good high school football player, had a lot of success in college, but the wavering constraints of where he was supposed to go and what his talent actually measures up in the NFL, there's a lot of baggage around Shedeur. He's not a bad kid at all. We're not saying that, but just coming from where you came from in Colorado, your father's prime time, he's always chiming in. And I think he's trying to say, like, hey, Dad, don't need you here in camp yet. Let me try to earn my stripes without you first. See if that happens.
Great, in theory, right? But I mean, this is another one of these situations, it's unfortunate for Shedeur, right? Because you can pick your friends, you can't pick your family, right, Donnie? Your father is one of the most well-known, one of the greatest football players to ever step on the field, two-way athletes, and you had to grow up living in that shadow your entire life. That's not his fault. But he also, along with that, has never really had to experience any sort of failure, Donnie. Like, there's never really been a situation where this is Deion's kid, and he's going to be there. And he's the starter here. He's the starter there. This is a very important spring for him because this is going to test him. And it's going to tell us a lot about him. Nobody is handing you anything because of who you are and who your father is. You're going to have to go out and earn it. I don't know that he's ever had to do that to this point in his life here, Donnie. So we're going to learn a little something about Shedeur Sanders here. And if it means that it's better without his dad at camp, and that's what he's saying here, I agree. Then do what you got to do to take care of you, because this might be the first time where dad can't bail you out here right now.
No, certainly. And dad also couldn't influence where he went from that draft position of, hey, I know exactly where my kid wants to go, meaning that he probably thought he had a choice of top 5 teams here in the first round that he could just measure and say, this is where he'd fit in perfectly. So a little humble pie for the kid. But again, everybody starts with that clean slate. It is true. Once you get to camp in a certain direction, we don't care where you were drafted. You outperform somebody, you're going to be on that football field. Now, again, there are extenuating circumstances where you draft a quarterback number 3 overall. Yeah, they're going to try him out for the next 3 to 4 years, even if he's not as good as anybody on that roster. But from Shedeur's perspective, that's probably the case. Tyler Huntley, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson. There's a lot of names on that list, not a lot of good names on that list. So he can earn a job on this football team. Do you think there's a chance, though, Joe, honestly, even if he doesn't get injured? We play this up right up to August 31st. And it's like, well, we just had to make a decision as Cleveland to cut Shedeur Sanders loose. Is there any chance he gets cut, or do you think he definitely makes this Cleveland football team?
All depends on him. Is he a good teammate? Is he making progress? Is he a distraction? You are a 5th round pick, Donnie. For the Browns at this point, they don't care that you're Shedeur Sanders. You're a 5th round pick. The minute you become a problem, it's a business decision, right? Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Be somebody else's problem. They're going to give him every chance to succeed. But if he does get cut, it's simply because there's something else going on it's just not worth you being around as a 5th round pick to be that kind of distraction.
We've asked this question multiple times, Joe. I'm going to ask you this again. Does Shedeur Sanders, if I listed a total of a half of a game to the over-under, starts for the Cleveland Browns this year in 2025? Are you going over the half game, or are you going under, which means he doesn't start?
I would say over. The kid has got all the talent in the world. It's not his talent I'm worried about. It's above the shoulders I'm worried about here, Donnie. I would say over.
This team's going to stink. So if Joe Flacco's still starting games in week 15, I mean, come on now. You got to try every one of those quarterbacks out just to see if they can be a franchise guy. And if not, back into the draft you go. College football. I'm going to tell you why college football polling is meaningless now, Joe Ranieri. How about that? Next.
5 to think long and hard about whether or not you're a Hall of Famer. You're not a Hall of
Thank
Famer.
you.
I don't need to argue stats. I don't need to argue whether or not you are great. If Ichiro Suzuki is not a Hall of Famer, we don't need to have a baseball Hall of Fame. Like, just pack it up and shut it down, because that guy was as good of a hitter as we've ever seen. And he was unbelievable from the first time he stepped onto the field for the Mariners until the end.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
It's edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Was already pretty solid up top, but you had the bottom that's that much better with Ryan O'Hearn and Lariano. Like, we now have a well-rounded lineup on top of a great pitching staff. Michael King is expected to start making his rehab starts. So you have him plus Pavetta plus Dylan Cease. You Darvish is back. You have the frontline pitching, the depth in the lineup, and now a great bullpen. You have it all.
I really like it. Like I do. Like sometimes I get caught up in the Padres because of what they can be.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
College football rankings, it's a rite of passage. Each and every year, we find out who the top teams are, even though they haven't played yet, haven't seen a quarterback, the offensive line, or don't know much information about the squads. Why? Because in the NFL, we have beat writers that watch practice every single day. We have preseason games. We have guys with active social media accounts. In college football, it's a little bit different. Now, granted, the information highway, Joe, in college football is opening up more, where teams actually have to start to put out injury reports, which you love to see, as opposed to the old, hey, wait a minute, I bet this football game, this kid's in sneakers, shorts, and a hoodie on the sideline. What actually happened there? Oh, he's suspended for the week. Don't worry about it. Oh, there goes your bet down the drain. So at least we get a little bit more information. But in the past, the poll used to be huge, Joe. And not because we cared about if Texas or Ohio State or Penn State was the best team. Like, if you were number one, you had an inside track on being in the mythical national championship game, as opposed to the team that might be better than you, that's ranked 17th, but could never get up in the top two spots because of how late they started in the poll to start the season. So give me your feelings here when the polls get released, what it used to be and what it is now for you.
Look at what it was last year, Donnie. It means absolutely nothing. Just listen. Look at what week 2 is going to look. Do you think this top 10 is going to be the same after week 0? Because Texas is playing, right? Ohio 1 and 2 are playing one another. You've got number 5 playing number 10. Notre Dame is playing Miami. This is all in week 0. Just by those results, when we head into week 1, this entire ranking, coaches poll included, is going to be thrown out the window, Donnie, because it's going to look totally different. Mix in one other upset in week 1, and your entire top 25 looks totally different. So no, it means absolutely nothing, especially since we all know if you're going to lose a game and you're Oregon, Clemson, Alabama, LSU, lose it early because there's plenty enough opportunity for you to climb the board and make it into a playoff with this current format that they have.
Yeah, and also it's 12 teams, right? That expanded college football playoff where it's not as devastating if you lose, because the topics that I'm talking about were, let's just go back to the early 2000s. Like if you are the Texas Longhorns and you're ranked number 1, and I'm just going to scroll down to, let's just say Texas Tech at 24. Well, Texas Tech is 0-0, so is Texas, but there's a big discrepancy. Both of these teams, let's just say Texas loses in the first 2 weeks. They drop down to like 9, whereas Texas Tech might be 7-0 after 7 weeks and be like, wait a second. We're 10th in the country. Texas has a loss. How'd they get back up to number 2? And that used to be a major factor in who makes the national championship game back in the day, even in the BCS era. But now you have a team like Texas Tech, who, again, I'm just using because they're ranked 24th, go, all right, we'll let things play out. All we have to do is really get into the top 12 at this point. 1 or 2 losses will probably hang out there. It's no big deal. But where you used to start was a monster factor on where you used to finish. But let's understand this. The coaches' polls are always going to come out on year to year because they're fun to talk about. But we have a couple discrepancies here, Joe, in that top 3. Texas is number 1, 28 first-place votes. Ohio State is number 2, 20 first-place votes. Penn State is number 3, 14 first-place votes. So we have a pretty tight and compact 1 through 3, Joe, with Texas, Ohio State, and Penn State. So I ask you this. Do you agree that Texas should be number 1? And also, where Ohio State and Penn State factor into this?
Well, the part of the process with the old BCS, too, Donnie, was there was a big issue with the fact that, all right, listen, I know I'm going to be top 3, top 4, top 5, right, in the poll. Okay. My out of conference schedule to start the year, I'm playing, I'm playing Marist. I'm playing Rutgers. But, I'm scheduling cupcakes because I want absolutely nothing to do with being upset early, right? Now, all of a sudden, it's changed. Look at the games we're getting in week 0. Look at what we're going to get the first couple of weeks of the season. All of those teams that you just mentioned in the top 3, 2 of those are going to play each other here during the season, Donnie, or they're going to play other teams in the division that are also somewhere listed in the top 25. So the scheduling alone has really worked into the favor of, hey, even if you are second or third to start the season, number 2, number 3, you're going to have plenty of opportunities for other teams to devour those guys in front of you if you lose or behind you. You have multiple outs in order to be able to keep yourself within a top 10 and a shot at a playoff, no matter what happens in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, you take a look also at the top of the standings, at least in the odds market. Texas at a 6-1 price to win a national championship. Georgia plus 650. Ohio State plus 650. Penn State 7-1. There's Alabama from the SEC at 11-1. Same thing with Clemson and Oregon, and then a little bit of a drop off there to Notre Dame. If you say, Joe, I'm going to give you one free play on this season for you to pick a national championship winner, who is that team you're picking to win the national championship?
Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, everyone loves Texas. Yeah. Everyone loves Ohio State. I mean, it's like, wow, going down the list here. But I would say until somebody beats them, Ohio State is still got to be considered the team to beat. Even at their lowest point last year, they got an issue in the quarterback room at Ohio State because, quite honestly, here we go. We have no idea who the quarterback is. A lot of changes at Ohio State. But I'm a big believer here that until somebody takes this team down before they play Michigan, by the way, because Michigan seems to have no problem beating them lately, I think Ohio State should still be the odds-on favorite to win it all.
Yeah, and it should be fun to watch it play out. Get started week 0. That's August the 23rd. Joe, look at my calendar right now. It's August 5th. Before you know it, me and you handicapping these games on Fridays, getting you ready for the weekend card. Exciting times coming up. College football, the coaches' poll is out. Of course, it's not going to stay the same even after week 0, week 1, and week number 2.
Well, let me ask you this, Donnie.
Changing up and
down.
Let
me ask you this. What happens if Ohio State beats Texas in week 0? Where does Texas go?
Yeah, what if they just flip-flop spot? Like they just go down one spot, 2 spots maybe? Do you know what I mean?
If that. Yes, like, exactly.
You put them at 26, like they're out of the poll because they lost, a top 3 game. Like, exactly. No, like they'll be right back in it and bounced up for it. And they'll certainly be. That's it. Yep. Sometimes you look at it and say there's moral victories. There's never a moral victory. Anybody who loses that game still getting a moral victory. What did you want them to do early in the season? Get up. The 2 top 5 teams playing it, getting after it here. It is the way it is at this point. We have a tweet yesterday, and we'll keep it in the college landscape here, college basketball. Pete Thamel tweeted out from the NCAA's Dan Gavitt, quote, expanding the tournament fields is no longer being contemplated for the 2026 men's and women's basketball championships. However, the committees will continue conversations on whether to recommend expanding to 72 or 76 teams in advance of the 2027 championships here. I want to start this because there's people out there that just hate change, no matter what the change is, even if it's better. Like they said, hey, Joe, I'm going to give you a $10,000 tax break. What? That's ridiculous. I never had a tax break. I don't want one. Stop the madness here. You're telling me that we have the majority of people going, thank God there's not 76 teams, man. We can't handle 76. Boy, I love 72. What's the difference?
Well, I mean, you have 363 schools that play Division I basketball, Donnie, right? So what are we increasing this to now? If you want, let's say, 25% of those teams, you're going to have 90 some odd teams playing for a national championship. And I don't know if are we hoping that a Cinderella pops out somewhere, because we know that's a farce, Donnie. We know Murray State is not running the table and beating the Dukes of the world. It's not going to happen. And I'm going to beat the Arizona. It's not going to happen. So what are we increasing this number for? It certainly isn't to give the little guy a chance to win a national championship. Instead of going to the NIT, we're going to put you in the tournament. You're not even good enough to win the NIT. So I don't understand it outside of money. I don't think it's because we're giving anybody a chance to run the table and win a national championship.
But that's really what it is. It's just about the money factor. But I do love the hill that people stand. Like, to me, again, I love the tournament the way it is. If 4 more teams got in, it doesn't bother me. If 4 more teams don't get in, I don't care as well. But the fact that there's people out there right now that love college basketball, like, if this tournament starts on that Monday instead of Tuesday, I'll never watch it ever again. Stop it. You will watch it and you will absolutely love it. It's not a big deal. So the people falling on their sword, like, we have to die on this hill where the NCAA can't have 4 more teams in to play 1 extra day on a Monday where nothing goes on. Stop it, people. Just embrace change. It's fun sometimes. Major League Baseball, it's on deck. It's the early line. Come on now.
Joaquin Niemann wins for the 5th time on the LIV Golf Tour. And I don't know how many starts they've had. Is it 9 at this point? Probably, maybe 10. So he's won half the time virtually.
He has, and this is again a stat. Sean Lowry is our guy who sends me live stats every week.
I love that you get live stats every week from.
It's so good.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's becoming just harder in general to do business from a money standpoint in general, let alone the competition. So yeah, Betfred closing up shop will be gone by tomorrow. We'll see if any sportsbook fills this void. It'll mean that there's a license up for grabs in Pennsylvania, which is one of the biggest states for sports betting and is home to a lot of other operators. At this point, we're getting to a time when no one's rushing into the market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Oh, Major League Baseball yesterday. A couple of baseball mavens right here telling you the Milwaukee Brewers were the right side yesterday. And of course they were. And we gave you different ways to bet it. You want first five? You got it. Joe Ranieri handed that out. You want the full game? Do you want to sit back and watch longer? I gave you that full game yesterday. A lot of fun on the diamond yesterday on a full Major League Baseball slate on a Monday, which is fantastic. Got another pretty good slate coming up tonight. But some of the games that we want to focus on are the teams that are battling for first place and the teams that are battling for that wild card position. Yesterday in Chicago, we talked about this game saying, well, this line just doesn't feel right. Like, why are the Chicago Cubs such a favorite when we don't think the Chicago Cubs have a better pitcher on the mound? It was Michael Soroka, and congratulations coming over as an addition midseason. 2 innings pitched, 1 earned run. He's out now with a shoulder injury, which we don't even know how long he might be out for. Nick Lodolo, 1 2/3 innings pitched. He was done in that game. The Reds come away with a 3-2 victory yesterday. A wild scene. Talk about trying to handicap games and say, let's focus on the pitchers. You couldn't focus on the pitchers at all yesterday, Joe.
No, I think there were 6 or 7 pitchers on each team that had to come in after that debacle by the starters there. And then any sort of handicap that you might have had on that game, Donnie, you just set it on fire and throw it out the window, burn it, because it made absolutely no sense at that particular point. Good win by the Reds, but even I don't care who you're throwing if you're the Cubs at home in that spot, taking on a team that was supposed to have a day off and didn't. There is no excuse for the Cubs to lose that game, especially against the bullpen of Cincinnati.
No, certainly not. But now we take a look at the standings there in the NL Central. The Milwaukee Brewers, winners of 4 games in a row, now seem like they're starting to extend their winning streak here and extend their lead in the National League East, or National League Central. The Cubs are 3 games behind. The Reds are 9.5 back, but also the Reds probably not going to win this division, but still fighting for a wild card spot at 59 and 54. And also, what is the epidemic that it feels like we talk about now with pitchers getting blisters here? I mean, my goodness. Like, again, Lodolo, 1 2/3 innings, leaves with a blister. Soroka with that shoulder injury. Basically a bullpen game where you got to use a lot of pitchers. Like, just look at the Reds yesterday. Martinez, Barlow, Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan. And then look at the Cubs pitching staff, which you get left again after 2 innings of being removed from a game. Brown, Brazier, Thielbar, Rogers, and Pomerantz come in. So now we're looking at extension during the week, and we used our bullpen up on a Monday. Now we got to rest some guys. But that was a big win for the Reds, but also more importantly, maybe a bigger loss for the Chicago Cubs.
Huge loss for the Cubs. I mean, really no excuse. You had a weekend series at home. You're watching the Reds have to hang out in Tennessee at Bristol Motor Speedway, had to play 2, had to burn all their bullpen arms in that game. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden their starting pitcher goes out. You can only muster up 3 hits and 2 runs. That's baseball in a nutshell. Everything pointed to the Cubs, and the Cubs did not deliver when they needed to and should have. And okay, so now here we go. Game on. Let's see what we get the rest of the way. But there's no doubt if Cincinnati early on in the season, Donnie, could have won a bunch of those 1-0 games that they were playing. It felt like every week they were losing 1-0 in those games, 1-run games. What would Cincinnati be sitting here right now? It's not like they weren't an early season favorite here or dog to make some noise here in that division.
You're right about it. And also, sometimes we just take a look and get those laser focus, too. Like, you take a look at the Brewers and, like, how they've done and what they're doing now in first place. But the Cincinnati Reds, like, it's a 2-pronged attack. Like, yes, you do want to win your division. But you know who still is ahead of you in the wild card race? It's the Chicago Cubs. And if you look at the Reds on the season right now, if it ended today, they're 3 games out of that last wild card spot. I don't think they're as good as the Padres. I don't think they're as good as the Mets or the Chicago Cubs. But you go into Chicago, win that series or sweep that series, now you got the Cubs full in backpedal mode, and you're starting to reel them in here. So it's not as if you're saying, well, 9.5 games back, we can't do it. You just got to focus on, like, the Cubs and say, every day we win and the Cubs lose, we bring them back into the wild card race, and that's what's probably most important.
And listen, there's tiebreakers involved and everything else, Donnie, right? That could come into play. So the bottom line is handle your business against division opponents and let the chips fall where they may. But really, at this point with the expanded playoffs, if I'm Cincinnati, all I'm saying is I just got to get in it. Get in it. You got to be in it to win it. All you got to do is put yourself in a spot to get in it. Nothing else matters at this point. So this is a big series for the Cubs, and I'm still worried about some of that pitching for the Cubs. I don't know that it's going to be good enough to go over and certainly to take down Milwaukee, but a team like Cincinnati, Who knows here? Wide open.
Yeah, Imanago on the mound tonight for the Cubbies here, hoping to knock off the Cincinnati Reds. But we've been telling you about this, Joe. Number one, the Milwaukee Brewers are a solid club. Quinn Priester is a good pitcher. Quinn Priester, he improved last night, Joe. 11-2 on the season. 7 innings pitched on the road, 1 earned run, which was a solo home run that he gave up, as I'm looking at right now. 90 pitches, an ERA of 3.15. Fetty wasn't even that bad. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. That's about what he does. But the Brewers continue to win. The Braves are an absolute mess. But we told you yesterday, get on the Brewers. They'll handle their business. And they did.
Yeah, no, they did in a big, big way there. And that 1 run was early in the game, right? The home run there. So it was 1-0.
First inning.
And then, first inning. And then you're right. I mean, Fetty looked pretty good right up until they turned the lineup over. And then that's usually the MO with him anyway. Once they had a second crack at him, they had that big inning, the 4th inning there, 3-run bomb. And then that was all she wrote. That's all they needed really at that point is Priester. And quietly, this Brewers bullpen, Donnie, has become not what the Yankees, but what the Yankees hoped they would have in a bullpen. The Brewers have right now, and they are becoming very interesting in the larger scope of things in the futures market.
Yeah, some guys stepping up in that lineup, too. You figure like Andrew Vaughn was a scrap heap guy. He's hitting 371 here in the National League. Goes 1 for 3 yesterday. And I know he's always talking about Christian Yelich as if he's hitting like 360. He's only hitting 260. But on a night-to-night basis, like this team just got off of a weekend, Joe. Smashing baseballs, winning easy, tons of runs. And then it's like, okay, let's go on the road and take on Atlanta. Cool temperatures, like what, 60s, low 70s yesterday in Atlanta. Rain in the forecast, still handle their business. I love this, too, because the way you win games, Joe, right? We can have 20 hits in a game. They had 3 hits yesterday and won the game. That's so important.
Huge. And you got another young arm in Priester, goes out, gives up 2 hits, 1 run, and gives you 7 innings. Gives you 7 innings, Donnie. I mean, huge. Absolutely huge the way this team is rolling.
Absolutely, people. More baseball talk next on the early line. It's how we do it.
Joaquin Niemann wins for the 5th time on the Live Golf Tour. And I don't know how many starts they've had. Is it 9 at this point? Probably, maybe 10. So he's won half the time virtually.
He has, and this is again a stat. Sean Lowry's our guy who sends me live stats every week.
I love that you get live stats every week from.
It's so good.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Becoming just harder in general to do business from a money standpoint in general, let alone the competition. So yeah, Betfred closing up shop will be gone by tomorrow. We'll see if any sportsbook fills this void. It'll mean that there's a license up for grabs in Pennsylvania, which is one of the biggest states for sports betting and is home to a lot of other operators. At this point, we're getting to a time when no one's rushing into the market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's edge rushers. That's where it is right now. And I think Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. I think TJ Watt's right there. I think Micah Parsons is right there. Certainly, those guys are very, very good. Myles Garrett is in a class of his own. He just absolutely is. When the advanced stats about the double team rate, his quarterback pressure rate, all of that, he just stands a notch. I don't want to say a big gap, but he stands a notch ahead of those guys.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
falling apart in the Big Apple. It just seems like it is on a day-to-day basis. The Yankees are still in contention for a division and a wild card spot. It just doesn't feel that way right now. Not handling their business, not playing great baseball, playing dumb baseball. The manager thinks he's getting fired. The fans want the manager fired. Aaron Judge has been out for the past week and a half. Aaron Judge is coming back tonight. So let's start with last night before we assess the New York Yankees. A game yesterday that they had the lead and they blew it. They fortified that bullpen, and the bullpen once again let them down. The Yankees got 10 hits and 5 runs. That should be good enough for a Yankees victory, specifically when you understand who the starting pitcher in the game was last night. Your de facto, oh no, it should be my ace, who now can't get out of his own way, blisters, no blisters, hasn't pitched well in the past month. Fried gave up 5 innings and 4 earned runs. The Yankees lost that game. Are things collapsing for the Yankees? Because it's not as if it's a lack of trying. 3 of 15 with runners in scoring position last night. Convert a couple more of those, you probably win that baseball game. But the Yankees aren't converting much, Joe. 60 and 53 now on the season. It's slipping away.
Since June 13th, the New York Yankees are 18 and 28. It is the 5th worst record in Major League Baseball over that time period. They have not won since that crazy trade deadline in which everyone was celebrating and jumping up and down where, woohoo, look at that bullpen. Yeah, that bullpen is a hot mess right now. They have given up all of these additions, by the way, that the Yankees ended up getting at the trade deadline. That's 12 earned runs, 15 hits, 14 strikeouts in 16 and 2/3 innings. That is absolutely atrocious, including Bird last night, doing it again, giving up the game-winning 3-run home run to walk it off, which, by the way, again, with 2 outs, and he throws the ball right over the middle of the plate, and it got absolutely destroyed. So Yankees have got some, and by the way, I don't know if this has anything to do with Aaron Judge. What does the bullpen being this kind of gas can, Donnie, have anything to do with Aaron Judge not being in the lineup?
Exactly. And also, like, they just have to perform. They're professional athletes. But if you are the Yankees, right, you got nothing out of Max Fried, which now you're starting to panic. Like, well, we gave this guy a long-term contract for a lot of money, and it almost looked like a steal, Joe, in the first half of the season. Then he gets the blister. He's not pitching well. And now it's like, oh, no, the sky is falling in. But also, as a team, to help out your pitching staff, to help out your bullpen. Joe, the Yankees had 5 runs by the top of the 4th inning. You know how many they scored the rest of the way? A goose egg. Like, you have to tack on, hey, score 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th, tack on 1 in the 9th against their bullpen. Then it doesn't matter. You can give up a run or 2 here or there and still win that game. But when the other team can just track you down, like you're up 3-0. Oh, no, we're down 4-3. We took the lead again. Tack on to that lead. The Yankees certainly couldn't do that. Yes, look, Bellinger got 2 base hits yesterday. He's hitting 278. Stanton with a couple of RBI. He's hitting 270. Old man in the sea woke up now, and Goldschmidt, he had 3 base knocks yesterday. Yes, I understand Judge is coming back. That is going to help. We just didn't picture this 3-4 weeks ago that the Yankees would be struggling, not to stay in first place, but basically to stay in 3rd place and hanging on in the wild card spot here, which is amazing to see. Now, when we do look at that division and say, who are the best teams there? The Red Sox are streaking, but how about the Toronto Blue Jays? It just feels like you want to play Colorado in Colorado right now because they can't get anybody out. The Blue Jays smashed yesterday the Colorado Rockies 15-1.
Not exactly the way I thought it would. But we did say yesterday, Donnie, the over, can't bet against. I mean, the Rockies in Pittsburgh played nothing but overs all weekend. Why in the world would we think Toronto wouldn't be able to pick up where Pittsburgh left off? Thought we'd get a few more runs out of Colorado, but didn't need it to get flying over that, 11.5 was the total. I think it closed at.
Yeah, we have a Sell Me Something segment, Joe, on Sunday's Pro Baseball Today show, and I didn't even care about the handicap on Sunday. I was just watching what was going on in Colorado with 2 bad baseball teams. I'm just taking the over 11.5. Cashed easy on Sunday. 16 total runs, no thanks to the Rockies, but still gets over that total. In Philadelphia last night, how about Kyle Schwarber, the MVP chance? 6 ribbies yesterday, which included a grand slam and 2 more home runs as Schwarber hits his 40th bomb of the season and making a run in the MVP market right now for the National League.
Yeah, we said we thought there were runs coming in that game again yesterday. That was another over we talked about. Didn't trust either pitcher necessarily, but Philadelphia did all the heavy lifting, and voila, we got ourselves another August over in the humidity.
Balls were flying out of the yard last night. By the way, Taijuan Walker on the mound today. Maybe the Orioles can play more than 3 runs today with a couple more home runs. We'll certainly find out. But also Isaac Paredes We talked about this to open the show. Joe, answers. I don't know. That's my answer. What do you think? I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever it is, I want the doctor's number because apparently you can repair. Give it to Slater of the Yankees, who just blew his hamstring out.
8 months to 8 weeks to 8 days. Isak Paredes, hour number 2, is on deck next.